everybody, and welcome to Grumpy Old Men. This is Mr. Steve Ross with an E. He's got his own YouTube channel. We'll give you the details about that in a moment, but I just wanted to share with you Steve's latest creation. Steve, you might like to tell us about these.
These are the Yindi twins. They're very common in Thailand. A little boy, a little girl who stand or kneel outside a shop or even a home, and they wai their pumalai flower garlands around their wrists, and they say Yindi Ton Rap. We are pleased to receive you. It's like a welcome mat.
Do they have names?
Not that I know of. They might. That's a good question.
What's it say up here?
Yindi Ton Rap. Yindi, we're pleased to receive you. Pleased to receive you. Yindi is also what you say when you meet someone new. Yindi Cup, I'm pleased to meet you. Yindi. So these.
Didn't say that when you met me.
No.
So what have they been made out of?
Oh, trash off the beach. Every single item on here, and there's probably 1,000 pieces of trash on these things. Every single thing came off the beach. Every single thing has been cleaned in soapy water or even spirits of alcohol, and glued painstakingly with about 5 different adhesives onto plywood.
So, I mean, where are they going to go? Or are they available for some museum around the world, an art gallery perhaps?
You flatter me. No, they were made to stand outside my door and greet visitors to Boontongs. This is Boontongs, and these are my Yindi twins. If somebody wanted to commission a piece like this, they'd have to wait for me to find more garbage on the beach. This is 18 months of garbage. So they have to wait. But yeah, I'm perfectly happy to build for people.
All right, so that's the Yindi twins, and we'll be back with more of Grumpy Old Men after this commercial break. And as we were saying before we were so rudely interrupted...
by lunch.
So how long did those two characters take to put together?
Well, not counting the 18 months that I spent gathering the trash off the beach. Between 3 weeks and a month, I think, yeah.
So did you sort of have the idea in your head of what it was going to look like, or did you just throw things at the wall and see how it landed?
Well, no, I had an idea, and maybe half the time what I thought it would look like is what it turned out to look like. You know, I've been fascinated with the Yindi twins ever since I got here, because they're everywhere except, of course, Muslim neighborhoods. They can't have representation of nature. But they're everywhere you go in some form, and there's a million different forms of them. And I was trying to think of I built the turtle out of cigarette lighters, and okay, that's what you can do with cigarette lighters. What can you do with the rest of the stuff that's in your house? All the rest of this plastic stuff that you have painstakingly cleaned with turpentine and a toothbrush. What can you do with all this stuff? And I was thinking of the Yindi twins, and I asked Chamnan to build the easels and started gluing trash to the plywood, and yeah.
Now,
and that's what we came up with.
The reason we're both wearing hats, well, at least me, is I've sort of got a little bit of sunshine. We've got an umbrella above us, but the sun's not quite over the yard arm as far as my baldness is concerned.
And I was just wearing mine to spare my co-host's feelings, but I'll go ahead and take mine off.
It's all your own hair. You paid for it yourself.
I did, yeah.
Sure.
No, I was born with it. You know, my father never gave me anything in my life except this hair.
What color was it when you were younger?
Oh, a really rich, deep black and curly. I look like Shirley Temple when I'll show you photos.
Well, the curls are gone.
Oh God, yes. But yeah, I look like Shirley Temple when I was a kid.
Maybe you should grow it long again, and then we could call you Shirley Temple.
I've been thinking of starting a beard. I haven't had a beard in 15 years. I've been thinking.
I could grow a beard for 3 weeks and nobody would notice the difference.
Yeah.
I'm not very hirsute.
I grow a very respectable, handsome, distinguished academic beard, but it's gray, and it's this color, and I look like Santa Claus. I look like I'm 100 years old.
Progressively whiter as you go south?
No, everything below my neck is black. All my body hair is still black.
Don't name
This
it.
just, I mean, and you know, everything from the hairline down is still dark except the beard.
Do you give them a bit of a touch up every now and then?
When I get my hair cut, I have
bit of
him do
dye?
I have him do my eyebrows, my ears, and my nose. Yeah, you know, and a mani-pedi. I don't cut my own toenails and fingernails. I've seen too many old guys at the VA getting a foot removed because they cut their toe trying to cut their own
Veterans
toenails.
Affairs.
Veterans Affairs,
Right,
yeah.
okay.
Old men, if you're pre-diabetic, man, you don't want to get you don't want to break the skin in your feet because there's not enough circulation there for it to heal. And you can cut the cuticle, cutting your own nails, and then lose a foot.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now-
Let's start the show on a bright note, folks.
Now, we are at George's, George Pizza. There's
George
no
Pizza.
apostrophe in
No.
there.
George's Pizza is in Pizza no Look, and George Bowman has a wonderful YouTube channel. I recommend you check it out.
And we're very lucky to be able to look out upon two lovely ladies on the beach today who are swimming, who would be, I would suggest, from the land of Russia. And
Someplace with not much sun, because they are very pale and they should not be in the sun.
but
like
there is
that.
quite a lot of them that is pale.
Yes.
I don't know how to say it
Well,
more
you're
politely.
after 12 years, you are used to seeing slim, waifish creatures, and,
Yes.
and yeah, the people showing up on Turtle Beach this week are not waifs.
Which brings me to this thing, Steve. When I was doing my live program on my YouTube channel,
Loved it, saw it, loved it.
thank you, and I'll get some change from you later. And by the way, Steve has his own YouTube channel, which is Steve Ross with an E on the end.
ROSSE, go figure.
And
The other thing my father gave me.
if you subscribe to that channel, Steve will send you 10,000 baht. So it's worth it. It
Sure,
really is worth it.
promise them anything. Sure, yeah.
Now, somebody accused me saying, because I was complaining about how Phuket was very busy at the moment and bad traffic.
Yeah.
He said, well, the way you're going, you're promoting Turtle Beach and you're just going to make it the same as Phuket. Well, let me start by saying that even though we're only 20 minutes away from Phuket, from the Saracen Bridge, we're like 3 or 4 decades away as far as development's concerned.
More, yeah.
So, and there are quite a few reasons why it will never, we don't know how often we've said this, it can never be like Phuket.
No.
Because the land along the foreshore here, for a couple of 100 metres back, is all Crown land. It's never
Yeah.
going to be developed.
Thiluang. Yeah, it has been Thiluang since it's always been royal land. It has been a national park since 1987. So yeah, at the moment there can be you can't put an umbrella, you can't put a deck chair on the beach. You see, George has not brought these ladies any deck chairs or umbrellas or anything. You can't do business on the
They
beach.
need more than one.
Now it was only couple umbrellas, ladies. But it was only made a park in 1987. I suppose it could be made a park again. But yes, any beach in Thailand is the King's Beach. It's
I've already
Thiluang.
knocked my glass, so
But,
don't you do it.
You know, that didn't stop Mum 3 from selling the Club Med on Kata Beach.
The first hotel,
The first big chain hotel.
big chain hotel,
And he got the Thai Royal Air Force to build an international airport on the promise that he had talked Club Med into coming. So a man named Mom Tri Tewokun is the man who is responsible for the for the development or overdevelopment of Phuket. Take it as you wish. But yeah, no, it won't happen here. The geology is also against it.
Do you know how much
can't-
they paid for the lease, for that, which is now Club Med? They paid $1 for a 10-year lease. Because nobody thought, nobody's going to come.
Yeah, nobody's going to come to Phuket. Only the backpackers go there. Yeah.
Tin mine. Who's going to go there?
Everybody, they still had the mindset. This would have been 80, 79, 80,
Yeah.
81. And the mindset in Bangkok then.
hello.
Oh, lady,
No.
half the people here are Muslims, lady. Don't do that.
So
No.
we do have a young lady
She's not wearing a top, is she?
without a bikini top. Don't. Just leave her alone.
Oh, lady.
'Cause she will turn around and come out of the water. Then you'll be happy. By the way, the tide seems to be a bit out today.
It's a very low tide. At any rate,
right on the
the thinking in Bangkok in 1980 would have been everybody with money goes to Hua Hin. Why Phuket? It's such a long way away. Even if you fly, it's such a long way away. But yeah, Mumtree sold. He's an architect, and he sold the design for that. Then he did the Phuket Yacht Club. Then he did La Méridien, yada yada yada. And now Phuket is what it is. I would also mention that here you can't anchor a boat here. It's way too deep.
Oh yes, you'd need a very, very, very long anchor.
So, the yachts, you're also very exposed. We're not in a bay. We're not surrounded by mountains. This is a promontory stuck out into the ocean.
From here out to India, there's nothing.
Nothing.
Oh, there are a couple of little islands, Nicobar Islands. I was going to turn my camera on. Cut. Here we go. And this is sort of what we're looking at. So there's Steve and me. Steve and I beg your pardon. And there's our lovely Russian friends.
I'm the one with the nice hair.
We're right on the beach as we speak. There you go.
Yeah.
So I've done that now.
Nah.
So do you...
Where do you live?
Well, we also go out of our way to try and remind people that it's not for everybody. I mean, Steve and I happen to really love living here, and we are very lucky that we have been able to secure a place sort of on the beach to live.
Not sort of.
But there's not that. There's probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 other properties that may be available at some stage. That's it.
That's it. That's all you got. And there's nothing to do after the sun goes down. You got to make your own fun here. Like I've said, this place will not go out of its way to entertain you. There's no bars, discos, shopping centers, no parasailing, no jet skis, no
commercial sex industry,
no commercial sex. Well, there is for the Thai people, not for us, but there is for the Thai people.
Yeah, she's coming out of the water, Steve.
Aw, lady, where do you think you are? They're nice boobs, though. They are nice boobs. They're just completely inappropriate in a Muslim neighborhood. You want to go to Phuket and do that. There's no Muslims left on Phuket.
I'm not going to turn the camera on, so I know you're thinking about it, but it's not going to happen.
And I complain about guys going into 7-Eleven without a shirt on.
Oh, did you see the photo?
You know I'm going to complain about this, right?
Did you see the photo? Got a lot of coverage last week.
The 2 guys at the airport?
Yeah. Did we talk about that last week?
I don't know, but it was a funny photo. Yeah,
they were wearing their, well, we call them Speedos in Australia. That's a commercial brand, but other people call them budgie smugglers. You might call them...
Banana hammocks?
Briefs or something. But they were wearing a pair of, well...
And nothing else.
Not much Speedos, like, the ones with about that much on the side. And a pair of thongs. And that was it.
Well,
wheeling their carts to the departure area at Phuket Airport.
Now, maybe the police brought them there. The police in Phuket will do that. If you break a law and they don't want to mess with you, they'll just drive you to the airport and tell you to get on a goddamn plane. Maybe these 2 boys were on the beach. Maybe they were naked and the cop said, put on your pants, we're taking to the airport. For whatever reason they were. But I told a story. Listen. And I'll fess up to this because I know somebody's going to point it out in the comments. The story I told on my channel this week was about me. That's twice. That is twice. Twice. That is karma. Whatever is happening here, you're paying back some bad karma. 3 times. Yeah, and we didn't have a camera on it. Nobody had a camera on it.
So... out comes the stuff for the cloth.
I'm usually the clumsy one.
I apologise for Steve. He keeps knocking the glass over.
Yeah, it's me. Let's just go with Steve. The story I told on my channel this week was about me going into a...
Don't knock the glass over
I'm sorry,
again, okay?
Dude. I'm sorry, Dad. Wat Tarua in Phuket,
over there.
dressed in only a bathing suit. Went in and knelt before the Buddha image and lit 3 sticks of incense and chanted Namo Tassa.
That wouldn't go down well.
Wearing only a bathing suit and a fanny pack. I had been on Phuket 3 months. I had visited many temples.
This is you?
This is me.
Jesus.
That's when I decided I was going to
become a nun.
No, I was going to come back and live on Phuket.
Okay.
And I did. I came back for 7 years. But the decision was made on Mueang Beach.
Just moving it. That's what was happening.
On Mueang Beach, and I was on my way home and saw the temple and said, I've had this life-changing decision just now that I'm going to come here and change my life and leave the movie industry and leave New York City and come and I'm going to go. Boy, the glow, the reflection. And I went in there. I was all full of joy and happiness, and knelt and said a prayer and lit the incense. And as I was coming out, this monk, this little tiny guy, just came flying up to me and told me in very good English where I got it wrong. So for me to criticize this woman for going topless in a Muslim neighborhood, there's a little bit of disingenuousness there. At least there was 30 years ago.
I wouldn't actually call this a Muslim neighborhood. There are some Muslims living here. And if you go about 5 or 6 kilometres down the road, there is a mosque.
Yes.
So I wouldn't call it a Muslim neighbourhood
I bet you $1 every guy on these boats going out in the morning's a Muslim. The fishermen have always been Muslim.
$1?
Yeah, I bet you a whole dollar.
A US
an
dollar?
An Australian dollar, not a real dollar, but an Australian dollar.
I'm going to go and ask one of the fishermen.
At any rate, it's very low class thing to do, and
I'm going to
rude.
get $1.
It's rude, and I don't like this woman. Having never met her, I don't like this woman. I've decided, and have at it in the comment section.
Now, just very briefly, I'm going to address. I don't even know what I'm going to say.
Speaking of the comment section.
The comment section. Last week, we didn't get any extra views than we normally get. It didn't even go slightly viral. So if you thought what we were doing last week was trying to attract extra views, we miserably failed. But a lot of people got very, very hot under the collar that we had the gall, as people who have been around the sun more than 60 times, to express an opinion. We were wrong, apparently.
Wow.
And I've always said in the comment section, disagree with me all you like. Say, I disagree with you, and then you can go for, 3 or 4 sentences telling me what you think I said was wrong, or give me a spirited rebuttal. No problem. But when you start getting personal, you just lose all credibility with me, because you know me, you see my face, you see, unfortunately, Steve's face. We don't see yours. You're anonymous. So when you're talking about us being cowards for expressing our opinion, you're the one who is sitting behind a anonymous profile. Over to you, Steve.
Yeah, I don't care. I didn't care a week ago. I still don't care. I don't give a rat's ass who plays piano in London.
He's made about 50 videos since.
Well, that's fine. You know,
he's milking it.
Rock on, dude. If
What's
I could,
Brandon.
Yeah, Kavanaugh. If I could find something to milk, I'd do that. I'd pay $1 for any Chinese apparatchiks to come tell me I have to stop filming. But no, I really, this is all I care about. Turtle Beach, from here to the Saracen Bridge, maybe as far north as Khao Lak, maybe 10 kilometers inland, but only because 076 is inland and I like the food there. But otherwise, yeah, I'm retired. I'm retired here. I will spend the rest of my life here. I will never in my life be in a tube station in London.
It wasn't a tube station. Apparently we got that wrong. It was
food court?
It was an above ground railway station.
Oh, okay.
So you're wrong, guys, because it wasn't a tube station.
Yeah,
really?
You're idiots. It wasn't a tube. I don't care. Yeah. I will never ride a train in London. I will never set foot in London. It's too late. I'm 66. I am not leaving this beach until they carry me off this beach in a black plastic bag. So I don't care, and I kept saying that over and over and over and over again. I don't care, and everybody, lost their shit. So
they certainly
we're past it. We're done with it. Let's not talk about it.
I was very
ever
disappointed. I lost 3 subscribers.
Half your subscribers?
Yes, I lost a total of 3, and I don't want to lose 1. But yeah, sadly, 3 people did decide to unsubscribe because of the controversy. We're never going to talk about it again. Good luck to Mr. Kavanagh and his piano playing. Is there
I lost a subscriber this week. I don't know why. I don't know who it was or why. But honest to God, guys, I'd be sitting here talking whether you were listening or not. So subscribe, unsubscribe, it doesn't matter to me.
Steve, we've got a few things to talk about here.
All right.
Because we need to fill up the hour. One thing we do see a lot in places like Phuket, Pattaya, even inner Bangkok, even places like Chiang Mai, anywhere there's tourists and a bit of fun to be had, we see these barns, or in the case of a place like Phuket, these beach clubs. And in days of yore, there used to be live bands. there used to be maybe a bit of piped music playing. But these days, they have these people called DJs. Now, DJs have been around, I suppose, since the 70s, 80s, and they were just the people who were playing a bit of music. But they were just the person playing the music at the club. Now they're elevated to this special status, and clubs sell out on the basis of this particular famous DJ.
Yeah.
Talk about getting comments last week. This will get some comments as well. This famous person, I've never heard of any of them,
Yeah.
except for Steve, Asian guy, Steve. I'll
Don't
remember
know.
it while you're talking. I can only think of one thing at once. He's good. He throws cakes around. Anyway, I just sort of really wonder, do they deserve this special status? It's like there's people on cooking shows, MasterChef. They cook food.
Well, yeah, when I was a kid, Wolfman Jack, I used to defy my mother to stay up late and listen to Wolfman Jack.
Well, these are DJs because they were spinning discs on the radio.
Right, but that's all they were doing. They weren't singing. They weren't playing an instrument. Casey Kasem with his countdown. I grew up listening to Casey Kasem. And I think DJs became considered performers in the rap world. You had a hype man, you had a rapper, and you had a DJ, and who was actually spinning discs. And why now? I've never been to a rave. I have not been in a dance club since I don't know.
That's the camera over there, by the way. I don't know where. I've been looking up here all the time, but it's over here.
I that's not me. I don't go out to those places, so I don't know what it is. Except I know that in show business, it's the publicist that makes you famous. It's not the artist. It's the publicist. Whoever is making their TikTok clips and putting those out there and getting those driven into people's feeds. So I don't know anything about. I could not name a current popular DJ or even probably a current popular song. I can't name a Taylor Swift song right now in the United States. Taylor Swift is the biggest thing in the United States, and she's lovely to look at if you like skinny, but
and tall
and southern. But I couldn't name any of her. I stopped paying attention to music when Leonard Skinner hit the ground. So I don't know. I'm sorry. I cannot contribute to this subject. Steve Aoki. Steve Aoki.
He is he's a bit of a performer. He does more than just spin the discs. But a lot of them, they just sit there and sort of. I think, well, I'm sorry, I don't get the talent.
I'm amazed anybody watches this, frankly. I don't know.
I don't know. I have to agree with that.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they're lovely people, and good luck for them to getting paid to play other people's music. But
1 in 100 people who tries to make a living in the show business, any arena of the show business, maybe 1% will ever make a living. That's why I used to drive around with an Olive Garden apron and an order pad in the back of my car, because you had to wait tables if you're going to work in the theater. So anybody who can make money doing performance, I'm happy for you. The reason I'm absolutely obsessed with Kim Kardashian. She has no talent at all. She doesn't sing, she doesn't dance. She proved on SNL she can kind of tell a joke if it's written on the teleprompter, but she has no real talent. She's one of the wealthiest women in the world. That's fast. That's an American success story. That's Horatio Alger, man. Yeah, I'm just as talentless and clueless as Kim Kardashian. How come? Oh, I got a tiny little butt. That's what it is. That's been my fatal flaw my whole life, my tiny little butt.
Oh, I think she's got quite a...
Yes, she does. Yes, she does. She gets attention for that thing.
Right. Moving right along. We spoke about...
Do we still talk about butts? Not necessarily hers, but I like talking about butts. I'm a butt man. That's
as we cast our eyes over to the beach.
Yeah, I'm a butt man.
Then you should be looking at this side of the beach, Steve.
There's a fair amount over there. The glutes are well represented.
Now, as you know, I have been...
Oh, by the way, this morning you were asking why bicycle seats are so small.
Yes.
You can't pedal if you're sitting on your glutes.
Can't pedal if you're sitting on your glutes?
No, your glutes are where the power comes from. That's what you're pedaling with. You got to sit on your taint, man. if you want to,
But
really,
what are you actually sitting on? Because
your taint.
Your
Your taint, the space between your anus and your testicles. That's called the taint, or the perineum.
Can you come up with something nice?
Perineum.
Well,
It's Latin.
that's
How much
better.
nicer than Latin can you
Okay.
get? It's the perineum. And is it the ischia? The ischia or the top? The ischia or the top? What's the bottom? The bottom of the pelvic bone. That's what you're sitting on, and it hurts like a motherfucker. That's why those late lycra shorts have all. It looks like they've got a sanitary napkin built into their pants because that's what you're sitting on. That crack right there.
Okay.
But yeah, you
don't
need
find
to.
it even vaguely comfortable sitting on those tiny.
No.
I
You
need
don't do it for comfort.
No.
No. I went out. I did my ride this morning.
That's why
and I was
God
walking
invented
bow-legged.
motorcycles.
Well,
So you don't have to pedal.
or chauffeurs.
You just go like
yeah.
that.
Yeah. They're nice too for longer trips.
Sure.
They're nice too. But Steve, at this point in his life, I have started smoking again, as you know. And I need to do everything I
mention it.
can. I need to watch my diet. I need to ride the bicycle every morning. I need to brush my teeth twice a day.
Suddenly
I need
you're
to take
caring
my
about
heart-
these things.
I know,
Because
because I
you
don't.
still smoke.
I'm convinced I'm not going to die tomorrow. That's what changed. I was convinced for a year I was going to die tomorrow. But Poo Rock, P.U. Rock, he convinced me that I'm going to live forever. But at any rate, no, I ride the bicycle as many days a week as I can fit it in. And it hurts like hell, But, everybody keeps saying, Steve, you look so much slimmer, you look so much healthier, and I agree.
You look great.
That's why. Well, thank you. I've been staring at myself for 24 minutes, so I agree with you.
Aren't you looking at me?
The glare. I swear to God, dude, the glare.
Yeah, solar panel for a sex machine. I've heard them all before.
Wait, hold still. I'm just checking my reflection. Anyway,
Little
we
things in you,
digress.
small
I'm sorry, I
brains.
interrupted you with taint.
Yes.
You were going to say something.
I will not be putting my perineum on a tiny bit of aluminium.
Do you want to spill some more water?
Yes, why not? Why not? 3's an unlucky number. Thank you very much. Oh, God, you're giving me a lot to spill. I'll put it over here.
This is going to be the beginning of the next set of Yindi twins. Right here.
Right.
Right?
There you go.
Every time I am, well, never mind.
Never mind.
Yeah, I'm picking through the trash, and my neighbors do not like it.
People describe this
Why?
program like that, picking through the trash.
Why is this Falang picking bottle caps out of the trash? Because I've taken them all off the beach. The beach is clean now, and it pisses me off.
You left that good hamburger in the trash, and you took all the bottle tops instead.
Yeah.
So I am currently finishing the third of my my properties, which I have been told will be the last. We'll see what happens there. Well, there isn't that much left really to sort of renovate that I'm allowed to.
No, everything else is either a shambles or being renovated on this beach.
Yeah.
There's people knocking down walls and building walls.
You seem to sort of think that there is this invasion of people all of a sudden. I'm just thinking it's high season. Of course there are people here.
Yeah, last high season I was here. There were no people here.
But it was still sort of, post-COVID and early days.
Yes, and that's my only experience of this place.
I'm predicting that come, I don't know, about April, May, that it's the weather changes and it's going to go back to being sleepy Little Turtle Beach.
God willing. From your lips to God's ears. I hope so.
But in finishing the properties, one thing that I have to do with this property...
Dude. No offense, dude.
Lady. You. I had to build walls. And I've had to paint those walls. And I am not going to pay somebody to paint walls badly. Because it takes very, very little skill. And I'm happy to do it myself. It's quite cathartic. You just sit there and think about...
Yeah.
Russian ladies without a top on, and off you go.
And everybody's done it. Yeah.
Sure. But one thing that I know, because I've got to pressure clean the old paint, and it just flies off. You just turn the tap on, and the paint flies off because nothing in Thailand ever has been undercoated or primer. No undercoat.
Primer. No.
There's buckets
that
of
is the
primer and undercoat sitting on the shelves of hardware stores
with rusty lids.
Never been touched.
That is the ethic of good enough. We talked about this last time.
Sure.
It's good enough. Someday I'll show you my wavy wall. I've talked about this. I got a wall where they started building from two ends and they realized they weren't going to meet, so they put a curve. It's an S-curve. They put a curve in the middle of the wall because the two halves weren't going to meet.
They could say it was intentional. It was artistic.
Yeah, that's it, artistic license. But yeah, the ethic of good enough. Chamnan, love him like a brother. Love that guy. Paid him to paint the one wall on the inside of my house. And he said, no, we don't need a primer. We don't need, no undercoat. No, one will do. And I didn't want to argue with the guy. And it used to be a restaurant where I live, and apparently there were some oily patches on the wall, and they are now bleeding through the paint. My new paint on the wall.
Fancy that.
I've got old fish oil or whatever it is bleeding through. Well, a layer of kills on that, and KILZ, kills.
So imagine me with my high pressure water cleaner, going
either one,
and shaking like hell, and the paint is just flying off and just covering me with something that was put on badly, I don't know, even 3 or 4 years ago. Shocking. But I'm undercoating everything. And then, and even the person who's sort of leading, the leading tradesperson, he said, what do you want to put undercoat on for? Yeah. So it's just something that they don't do in Thailand.
No, they don't. And I'm sure, the landlord is thinking to himself, if this Farang was going to do something for me to improve my property, I wish he'd do something else, because I don't need a primer under there. Why do I need a primer? Why doesn't he pave the driveway? I could really use a paved driveway in my rental property. Why isn't this fellow paving my driveway?
So next time you drive past, the final colour is on the outside of the house.
Nice.
See what you think about it.
Nice. I hope I'm invited to your housewarming.
Oh, yeah. Oh, of course.
Awesome.
Of course, Steve.
Yeah, you'll let me know. You'll send me a text when we get closer to the date.
Now, just continuing a bit of a series we had last week, and we didn't get many comments about that because they couldn't fit in the comment section last week.
It was all piano players.
Sure.
The whole comment,
Yes.
300 comments.
Oh, no, there were more than that.
Oh, yeah. About, this guy playing piano.
So, the series was you describing things that appeared weird to you before you came to Thailand, but once you got here, just common day. And the converse is things that when you came here...
Things that were normal to me my whole life in the United States, and are now, after being here for just 18 months, 7 years previously and 18 months now, are weird as hell. And the example I used was shoes on furniture on American TV shows. I've watched, I've watched every episode of The Big Bang Theory 10 times without ever noticing that those guys lay around on their sofa and on their beds with their shoes on.
Well, I used to do the same back in Australia.
I guess. I don't remember if I ever did. I'm sure I did when I was a kid. I'm sure I did. Though we had a mudroom. I was very wet and cold most of the year, so you always have a mudroom where you take off your coat, your boots, your snow pants, your gloves, your hood, So I would have left in the wet months, would have left my shoes in the mudroom. But yeah, that was something that, I'll tell you what, these ants, these are industrious little bastards. So things that were weird when I first got here and are normal every day now. And the example was children on motorcycles with no helmets. I don't even think about it.
10-year-olds.
When I see that now. I don't even think about it. But I came up with another one just this morning, and that is...
I didn't write the topic down. I just wrote weird what was things. Weird.
Yeah. Miss Thailand being interviewed on live TV, and she's 2 knuckles deep. And it's just... And like you pointed out, to pick your teeth, you got to hide it. Right?
Oh, yes.
The soles of your feet, God forbid you show anybody the soles of your feet. But yeah, nose picking, anywhere, anytime. And so, it's just one more thing for the list from last week of things that were weird when I got here, and now I take in stride. I don't even notice.
Yes, you'll see many fingers buried into navel cavities, but the hand is up in a very discreet little movement with
pick
one
your
of
teeth.
Where are they?
And
You got
when
them?
who what
They've taken the
toothpicks?
toothpicks.
Yeah, and they're toothpicks are very common because rice will stick in your pockets. If there are any dentists out there, pockets of your teeth, of your gums,
The gaps.
more than bread products or vegetables will.
Speaking of your gaps, can I just do a quick check? Oh, last week there was a little bit of additional
Spinach. Yeah,
additional.
spinach. I'm learning how to wear a prosthetic tooth, and apparently they catch a lot more food than just having a hole in your gum right there. So yeah, last week I was embarrassing myself without noticing it. As much as I stare at myself in this machine,
So perhaps
I never noticed.
You have some other examples of things that you either found weird before you came here or have been found to be weird now that you're here. Anything in relation to culture shock? I'm getting a bit of culture shock from these people on the beach at the moment.
Yeah, it's really striking, isn't it? I mean, when you don't see that kind of behavior for years, and then you're confronted with it, imagine how these people feel. We can get up and walk away anytime we want. These people working here have to look at that all day.
I bet they do too. I
Well,
wrote
the boys do, yeah.
in my notes, avoiding theft in hotels. That is going to
Oh.
prompt you to one of your many stories.
Yes. Well, there's two halves of this. So I used to teach English in the hotels on Phuket. All of Mum Three's hotels that I mentioned previously, I worked in as an English teacher. And I made sure that and it's the best teaching gig. If you're interested in teaching English in Thailand, teaching in the hotels is absolutely the best gig. Though now I suppose they probably do that online. But you get 2 free meals a day of Western food in the hotel, and the students, you will never ever have better motivated students than the staff of a hotel.
Sure.
Because they know better English makes better tips. Excuse me a minute.
Oh, Steve's Eustachian tubes just need
Yeah.
a quick wash out.
2 days, nothing, and then as soon
Stick
as
your finger in your nose. That's
Yeah.
what they do here.
that might have caused it, who knows?
Yes.
But at any rate, the students are very motivated, and you'll have a class of housekeepers, a class of engineers. I taught 6 hours a day at the Kata Beach Resort, 6 hours a day, and you have front office staff for an hour, you have kitchen for an hour, restaurant for and there is a specific curriculum for each department. And the maids, I made sure that they taught me a word of Thai for every word of English. I taught them. Why waste the opportunity, right? You're in a room with 15 young, eager Thai people. Let them teach you Thai, right? And every Friday we watched an episode of Faulty Towers because the duck's right there, dude. If you get bored, the duck's right there. We watched an episode of Faulty Towers because they understood every bit of it. They didn't understand the language, but they work in a hotel. And when the GM hits the waiter with a frying pan because he does not understand English, howls of laughter. And I got to spend Friday watching 6 episodes of Faulty Towers instead of working for a living, and I like that. But
Sounds good to
something
me.
the roommates taught me, because they were talking about. I think the boathouse at that time was something like 3,000 baht a night or something. It's a very exclusive, only 36 rooms, very exclusive hotel. And they were laughing about one of the wealthy tourists stole the hangers out of the closet. Somebody who could afford to pay 3,000 baht a night for a room.
Took a coat hanger.
6 coat hangers. They took all the coat hangers out of the closet because, of course, at the boathouse they would never have those chintzy things that lock in
That
their
you
seat
can't remove. Right.
and that you don't steal because you can't take it home and use it. It doesn't have a hook. It slots into a thing. Well, in your better hotels, they assume you're not going to steal the hangers, and they put real nice wooden hangers in the closets.
Like at 2 particular Airbnbs in Phuket.
Right. Even here, we have high-class accommodations where they have real hangers, and somebody stole 6 hangers. And we were talking about this, who pays 3,000 baht a night for a room and steals a 20 baht hanger? But they said to me, Steve, if you ever check out of a hotel, look everywhere. When you check out, look under the bed, look in all the drawers, look in that shelf that's way up in the top of the closet. Because if a maid wants to steal something from you, and if your room is messy, you are more likely for the maids to steal from you because they reckon you won't notice. If your stuff is all jumbled about, when time comes to check out, you're just going to shove stuff into bags, and if you have a real nice sweater that's gone missing, you won't even notice. So if your room is messy, you are more likely to get ripped off by the maids. But they won't steal it as long as you're still checked into that room. They'll hide it in the room, so that if you notice you're missing it, you'll call management. Management will come in knowing this. They'll look under the bed, they'll look up atop a closet, and they'll say, look, here it is. And you'll say, well, the maid obviously hid it there. And the manager will say, yeah, and you got a plane to catch in 15 minutes.
So what
and off you go. But once you check out, they can go in there and take anything they want, right? There's a little card that says we're not responsible for items left in the room. So once you've checked out, they can walk in there and walk out wearing your sweater, and nobody cares. So when you check out, always look in all the corners, look under the bed, look in all the drawers, look in all the shelves.
Check your crevices. That's the advice.
Yeah,
from
check
Steve.
your perineum.
Check.
Something's growing in there, I swear to you.
Whew.
That's why you use the Asepso soap. The Asepso antibiotic soap is for that.
What brought about remembering this particular story?
Well, I don't know. Honestly, I wrote down the note earlier this week. I don't remember writing it down, and I don't remember why, except that I have found it a very useful information. I was ripped off for $600 in a hotel in the United States. And I've never, since getting this piece of advice, I do look everywhere in the room, and I have found stuff left behind by other people. In Cambodia, the 2 nights I spent in Cambodia, I found a little hash pipe under the bed, which I just left because I'm not going to carry a hash pipe through a Cambodian airport.
Good
Before
advice.
you ask in the comments. But yeah, I've always done it now since they told me that, and I thought it was refreshing that they felt comfortable enough with me to tell me how they steal from the guests at one of the finest hotels on Phuket.
So now you know.
Now you know the rest of the story.
And with that, thank you very much for... Oh, you... beg your pardon.
I want to give a shout out. We had visitors this week.
Oh, we did. I've had visitors too.
Just today, Jimmy Ko from Malaysia showed up at my house like 15 minutes before I was supposed to leave to come do this, and I couldn't make him a cup of coffee. But he also, it turns out... Coffee. I have to, that's the New York. That's not Iowa.
Yeah,
that's a leftover from 8 years in New York.
Bit of Boston in there.
Yeah, coffee. What do you talk?
Anyway,
Jimmy Ko. And he brought a taxi driver. I have to go to Phuket next week, it turns out. It turns out my visa's not done, and I can't just go do my 90-day report. I have to go get, I don't know what I have to do. I have to bring my bank book and my passport to Phuket.
And inspect your perineum.
And go back to immigration, get a photo taken again. I don't know why, but they said, you have to come on Monday. You have to come.
A very handsome man, Steve.
So Jimmy Ko's because we don't have any taxi drivers per se here.
I can give you the number of one.
Well, I got one. Jimmy Ko brought me a taxi driver.
Okay.
The other thing, staying in your place, Marty, Tony, and we think it's Narita from Minnesota. Go Big Ten. They came by and swung by the house and had a cup of coffee and brought me coffee. And what else?
They brought me cherry ripes.
Whoa, yeah. So big shout out to Marty and Tony and Narita. I'm glad
And they bought me jewelry and diamonds and 50,000 baht cash. What do they bring you?
I don't know, but I think it's time for your shot. I think you're starting to spin out, have a psychotic break. So it's time for time for the shot.
We do appreciate the people that come here and bring us gifts. I suppose it would be fair to say that if you do come here and you don't bring gifts, you're not going to be treated very well, and we'll probably just ignore you. So, and if those gifts are expensive, then you're going to be treated better.
How much is a cherry ripe?
I don't know, but I love cherry ripes. Yeah. And look, thank you very much. Don't bring chocolate, by the way, because honestly,
it melts.
Every day for the past 3 months, I'm just getting through all this chocolate that people are bringing us. Thanks to Jack and Diane for the Cadbury roses.
Cadbury's, yeah.
Oh, God, magnificent. Still working my way through those, but I am putting on a little bit of weight.
And Flavio Manzoni has Manzoni's in Kamala, and he has brought me coffee and a gelato. Amazing.
And ice cream.
Gelato. Isn't it gelato or is it ice cream?
Ice cream as well.
Oh, both ways.
Yeah.
Flavio, you should know that my freezer is only big enough for 2 trays of ice cubes, so it all goes into his freezer, and I never
Steve
see
comes
it
and
again.
helps himself.
No. Well, a little bit. But at any rate, yeah, thank you. It's not necessary, but it's certainly welcome when it happens.
Yes. So thank you, everybody who's been dropping in from time to time. And by the way, I do have a couple of properties. If you'd like to visit Thai Mueang.
Yeah, better. You're getting better. You're still exaggerating it. You're still making a big point out of saying it. It's just Thai Mueang.
Okay. It's sort of mu and ang, and you've got to put it all together. Mueang.
You have to grimace. Sala. You have to grimace. Mueang.
Well, I am grimacing. I'm just grimacing a bit more than you. Because I'm worried about saying it. I'm worried about what you'll think about me.
I'm sorry. I'm judgy. I'm working on it. I swear to God, I'm working on it.
And with that, we thank you very much for watching.
Thank you.
Steve has a channel. It's Steve Ross with an E. And Steve's got all sorts of natterings about his life and retirement and living in paradise on a beautiful beach. And the kids are about to come and take over.
And getting pissed off about women not wearing tops on the beach. Can you imagine? Who does that?
She did it because, look, let's face it, she was the only person on the beach, except for these people.
Who complains about it? What heterosexual male complains that a young, beautiful woman with great boobs has taken off her top on the beach? Who waves his fist in the air and says, think of the Muslim families? I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to control it. Honest to God, I'm working on myself. I'm working on it.
And so am I. So thanks everybody for joining us. Please subscribe to the channel. But if you do play the piano or have got something about Chinese flags, by the way, Chinese New Year next week.
Yes.
I'm told we have to call it Lunar New Year as well, because some people take offence if we call it Chinese New Year, heaven forbid. I'll probably dig out the Chinese shirt next week.
Songkran is a Lunar New Year. It happens in April. You can't call this Lunar New Year because it's not the only one. There's a full moon every month of the year.
Yes.
And some culture will designate this moon as New Year, and some that moon, and some that moon. No, that doesn't work. Lunar New Year does not work.
It says Chinese New Year on the T-shirt, so I'm calling it Chinese New Year.
Yeah, Gong Si Fa Choi.
Gong Si Fa Chai is what I've been told to say.
Okay, there's one for
Chai.
There's one for our viewers in Singapore and Hong Kong. Let us know, how do we say it for next week? We'll have it by next week.
Because I think next Saturday or Sunday is Chinese New Year, so we'll have to.
I think
we'll have to do something.
It's the 11th, isn't it? I think it's the 11th this year. Anyway,
we'll ask the Oracle.
We've said goodbye 3 times.
So it's good fun.
Yeah.
Hey Siri, when is Chinese New Year 2024?
Bing bong.
10th of February.
10th. That's
2024.
Friday, isn't it?
Today's the 3rd or the 4th? Today is the... That's why we're grumpy old men. Today's the 3rd. It'll be next Saturday.
It'll be next Saturday.
Which is when we usually record.
This is
not live, by the way, for those people that think they can just sort of, join the comment section. No.
I would point out that there's 2 men here who are not wearing wristwatches and don't have calendars and had to ask a phone what the date is, because we live on Turtle Beach and we can live this way.
We sort of don't care what day it is, although I do have to keep track of who I have to pick up at the airport and what time they're checking in. And
I don't.
No, I know you don't.
No.
Thanks everybody for joining in. It's time to say goodbye for the 4th time. And thank you very much for the coffees.
Very good coffee.
Thank you to George Pizza.
George Pizza.
We have to mention again. And please subscribe to my channel, because I've asked you to subscribe to Steve. So the least you can do is subscribe to mine as well.
You're there right now. Just click subscribe.
Thank you to Bob the Duck, given the name even though I wasn't asked. And we'll see you next week.
I love you.